Hello, dear friend, YouTube channel. Today we are going to have third round of Armenian National uh, Chess Championship, open section and women's section, and also we are going to have a last round of Andranik Margaryan Memorial for GM Norm Tournament and for IM Norm Tournament. Let's go! Again, with a huge respect to the players, participants of Andranik Margaryan Memorial, but I prefer to start with Armenian National Championship. And today we have very peaceful day, and all 5 games ended in a draw. Let's slowly check them. Uh, we do have Benik Agasarov, rated 2387, against Artur Davtyan. Game ended in a draw. Yes, Gioco Piano, Italian. D6, very popular position nowadays. Magnus played with both colors, Anish Giri, Dingliren, Fabiano, and many others, Arjun. Yes, H3, A5, Rook E1, and Bishop A7. I'm not much familiar exactly with this move order. I know that Knight A3 move exists. Yes, Knight BD2, Knight E7, Knight F1, Knight G6, Knight G3, C6. And we do see that Artur didn't really spend much time, only a couple of minutes. And D4. And computer doesn't like much D4. Oh, actually it does like D4 or Bishop B3. Yes, Bishop B3, D5, it takes D, Knight D5. Usually Knight E5 ideas aren't working because of Knight takes E5, Rook E5, Bishop F2. D4, it takes D. Yes, C takes D, and now very typical idea. Not really going D5, Knight takes E4, Knight takes E4, D5, Bishop D3, D takes C. Bishop takes E4, Bishop E6. Queen C2. And now we see that Benik Agasarov is really behind on clock. 43 against 1 hour 15 minutes. Bishop D5, Bishop D2, Rook E8, Bishop D5. Yes, Queen D5. Arthur, for some reason, didn't take on D5. He played Rook E1, Queen D5, Queen A4, Bishop B6, Rook E3, H6, Queen B3, A4, Rook D3, D5, Rook takes D5, Rook E6. Yes, maybe white could try Queen E8, King H7, Queen E4. Yes, Bishop E3, even better move. Yes, King G8 was the best. Some slight pressure white is having. And this is already very unpleasant. This is already very unpleasant for black. Queen takes D4. Bishop takes D4 would have been much stronger. Rook C6. Some Queen F5. Yes, just not Queen C4. For example, Rook C5, and white is much better, close to +2. Queen C4, Queen takes C4, B takes C, Rook C6, Rook takes, and here players agreed in a draw. Yes, I should say that it looked better, slightly better for black, but later on Benik Agasarov outplayed, or something went wrong for Artur, and he got very unpleasant position. I would say even close to but in the end, uh, Armenian prodigy Beni Agasarov somehow didn't feel the uh, how good his position is and trade the queens and game ended in a draw. So another game we are having Mamikon Gharibian, one of the leaders, facing Tigran Harutyunyan, and yes, we see d3, not really allowing any knight x c4, but I don't think Tigran was really going to take on e4, and I don't remember him playing any open variation. Though I should say that recently I have seen Eric Gasparian playing in Andranik Margaryan knight takes e4 open variation. Yes, but somehow I don't think. Yes, I don't think Tigran works with Eric Gasparian, and Tigran plays open variation. So c3, short castle, bishop g5, rook e8, short castle, h6, b5, and bishop b7, rook b8, a takes b, a takes b. Yes, a few moves are possible, and surprisingly, opponents didn't even spend any time. And d4, and now he takes d5, knight e4. Tigran goes knight e4, bishop e7, knight takes e7, knight takes e5. I think we do have some broadcast issue because somehow I don't believe that Mamikon and Tigran they really knew this position. Wow. No, definitely some broadcast issues because okay, why not queen f7, king h7? At least okay, if you know, then you can go queen f3. But if you are not aware, you definitely will spend some seconds, minutes. Yes, of course, no doubts. Some broadcast issues, as always. This part of uh, work, job, federation, and especially part of the team who does the broadcast, and they know how to make uh, problems. This is not the first time that we are having broadcast issues. Definitely, like according to time, players didn't spend any seconds, but I'm sure they played and it was not a prearranged draw or something like that. But as we can see, we do have broadcast issues. Okay, now another game was between Manuel Petrosian against Karen Grigorian. Take c, a4, bishop f5, knight d5, knight bd7, knight b6, a5, f3. If I'm not mistaken, h4 is another move. Knight fd7, e4, knight takes e5, he takes f. Yes, here already we can see and broadcast works normally. Yes, it is very interesting why Manuel Petrosian didn't play h4 on move 9. And after knight fd7, didn't take, knight takes d7. Of course, after d takes c, if I'm not mistaken, very famous game of Gary Kasparov against Paco Vallejo. Knight d7, bishop e3, g6, and we see that Karen Grigoryan didn't spend any time. Manuel already wasted a lot of time. d5, bishop g7, d takes c, b takes c, and now black is slightly better. Queen c2, short castle, bishop e2. Yes, for example, knight d5, queen b8 was played, f takes g, h takes g, short castle, rook c8, rook c1, knight f6, b3, knight fd5, knight d5, knight d5. C takes d was also working with the ideas to go d4 and knight d5. Bishop f6, bishop c4, king g7, queen e4, rook h8, g3, queen d6, h4, rook h d8. And seems like Karen Grigoryan offered the draw, which was accepted by Manuel Pedrosian. Game ended in a draw. I think out of the opening, black didn't get any problems. Maybe even a slightly better position, but later on didn't play well. And white uh, got even maybe position, even in the last position where players agreed in a draw. According to computers, it is slightly better, preferable for white, but quite difficult. Yes, once again, if I'm not mistaken, here h4 is the one of the main lines nowadays. And here another. Let's see. Okay, let's move to another game. We do have Zaven Andreasen facing Hovik Karapetyan. And another game, Hovik Karapetyan goes and plays Najdorf. H3, E5, Knight B3. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the line what Mamikon Haribian played in first round game against Hovik Karapetyan. Bishop e7, g4, h6, bishop e3, and you can actually check. Just I apologize. Let's go to first round. Actually, this game, and we see this. Here Zavan went g4, h6, bishop e3. Okay, now we move to round, and this game g4, h6, bishop e3. Yes, b5 is one of the moves to play. For example, knight d5, you go bishop b7, bishop b6, queen c8. Yes, I very much recommend this move. Knight d5, you go bishop b7, bishop b6, you go queen c8, and you don't afraid of knight c7, king f8, next knight takes a8. Yes, because of bishop e4, and if something like f3, you go knight bd7, knight takes a8, you just take with the queen, and now bishop takes e4 ideas are coming. Yes, here white is having a 4 move, b takes a is the main move, knight b7, queen d2, and yes, Hovik played quite quickly. After spending a couple of minutes, Zaven went queen d2, and now b5 was the best. And Hovik went knight f8, not the best move. And Zaven played f4. f3 would have been the best. Or long castle. Yes, f4, decent move. He takes f, bishop e4, f4, knight g6, bishop e3, bishop e6, long castle, rook c8, king b1, knight e5. Yes, and here knight d4 or a3 would have been the best. Yes, knight e4, queen g2, knight f6, and bishop d7 seems slightly preferable for white. Players are having about uh, about the same time on clock. Bishop e2, short castle, knight d4, rook e8, rook hg1, threatening some g5 ideas, knight c4, bishop c4, rook c4. Yes, I assume g5 ideas aren't working because of just h takes g, bishop g5, there is rook d4 tactical ideas, b3, and now knight f5, bishop f5, g takes f, king h7, bishop d4, bishop f6, rook d4, bishop takes, f6, and now black doesn't have any problems. It's just rook c7. Yes, and here after queen e4, Zaven Andresian offered the draw, which was accepted by Hovik Hayapetian. Yes, I think Zaven came prepared and he checked most likely last game of Hovik Hayapetian in this line against Mamikon Haribian. But Hovik had prepared, and eventually. But anyway, at some point, black went wrong. White could play better and maybe pose more problems, but uh, didn't didn't play them, and game eventually ended in a draw. And the last round for today, we are having Sargisian against Robert Hovhannisyan. Yes, let me remind you that Sargisian didn't score points before this game, but let me also remind you that he had two black pieces in first two rounds, and now finally white pieces against Robert Hovhannisyan. And usually Robert plays knight f6, but here we see he goes a6, bishop a4, knight f6, short castle, bishop e7, e3, b5, bishop b3, d6, a3, short castle, knight c3, and rook b8. Yes, some other moves are possible. Knight a5, bishop a2, bishop e6, bishop g4, knight b8, rook b8. Yes, h3, knight a5. I should say that once I faced Sargisian, and at that time he played d4, and as I know, yes, he's a d4 player, but for this tournament we see some uh, big changes, and he started the game with e4. And bishop g5, Robert goes c4, b4, c takes b, c takes b, b4, a takes b, knight c6, rook c1, knight takes b4, and bishop b1. Wow, knight d5, bishop e7, knight d7, knight takes d5, knight d5, bishop d2, knight b4, d4, bishop f6, a5, bishop d3. Yes, we definitely see that Sarkis tries to pose some problems for Roberto Vanician. He doesn't want to make a draw despite the rating difference and the tournament standings. Yes, knight is coming to d3, and white is already better. Queen e3, f takes c, attacking the pawn on d6, f5, and this is already, yes, rook takes b4, yes, very unpleasant position for Roberto Vanician. Yes, pawn down. It's hard to say, yes, and this should end in a draw, and of course Robert managed to achieve a draw. So let's check the standings. Somehow, yes, we do have four players. Amico Gharibian, Roberto Vanician, Zaven Andreasian, Artur Davtyan are having 2 points out of 3. We do have three players, Tigran Harutyunyan, Benik Agasorov, Karin Grigoryan, 1.5 points out of 3. We do have two players, Hovik Karapetyan and Manuel Petrosyan, 1 point out of 3. And we do have Sargis Sargisyan, half point out of 3. Okay, now let's move to uh, women's and see. We do see that Susanna Gaboyan won against Navar Tyrapetian. We do see Susanna Arakelian drew against Mariam Avedisian. We do see Mariam Khachatrian, Meline Harutyunyan game ended uh, White won the game. Galina Kobak, Lilia Danielian, and Milena Gasparian drew against Anna Khachatrian. Yes, I think it will be fair, these two games. Alapin. Yes, here I know that d6 and knight c6 are the moves. So of course, e6 is also very much possible. Yes, I know that d4 is another move. Bishop c4, knight b6, bishop b3, c4, bishop c2, d5. No, this I don't like much. It takes d, queen d6, short castle, b3, queen e2, forcing black to take, takes d4, knight bd2, knight c3, there is queen d3, knight c4, bishop d2, b4, maybe threatening b5, knight e5, takes, bishop b3, queen f3, bishop f4. You know, I like the way Susanna Gaboyan plays. Even whatever move she played, engine is showing the best. Simply not much to say. Yes, f takes e and rook g7, queen g3. Yes, if king h8, I assume knight f7 is coming. Am I correct? Am I right? Yes, knight f7 is there. Knight c6 is also working. Knight f3 was winning. Knight g5 was winning. Knight g5, king e5, g3. Wow, wow, and she blunders. For example, here queen d2 was working. Oh, yes, this part of the game reminds me game of Mikhail Tal against uh, Myanmar Suren, Nice Chess Olympiad 1974. It was this, c3, c5, knight c6, c takes c, bishop c4, short castle, a3. And here bishop c3, b takes c, b6, or bishop a5. Yes, Myanmar Suran plays c takes d, and now after a takes b, d takes c, b takes c, white is much better. Here bishop d6 would have been the best. And queen d3, bishop b7, and here Tal doesn't play knight g5, knight g6, h4, after which evaluation is around +2, because knight g5, knight f5, there is knight d6. So Tal plays this, and now bishop a2, and now rook e6. F takes c, bishop e6, now if king h8, there is knight g5. So now queen h7 finishes, bishop h6 finishes the game. Tal plays knight h4 with the ideas queen f5, knight f5, knight g6, or queen f3. And here queen h7. And now if knight f7, bishop h6, knight h6, queen h8. And now if knight e g8 and knight g6 checkmate, and here you just take queen g8 and knight g6 checkmate comes. Uh, yes, it was this. Oh, first d takes c, knight takes c5, queen g7, knight d4, king d5, queen b7, and now bishop f4. Was this, knight c2, not queen d5, of course, queen d4, c4, queen e4, h3, and bishop e3, queen f4. Tal's game against Myanmar Suren. Yes, let's check also go back against Lilia Danielian game. Yes, here knight bd7 or a5 are the moves. Yes, I'm not much familiar with this position. No, I don't like this. Yes, this seems very bad for black. Yes, knight is coming to e4 or c4. Yes, here c4 would have been the best. a6, now a6, and now a6. Yes, +5, completely winning for white. But Palina is having less than 2 minutes. And huge blunder. Rook a8 was finishing the game. Knight g2 would have been the best. And another huge blunder. Oh, yes, too many blunders. Yes, it was completely winning for white, and throughout the game, white had huge advantage. Also, let's see the standings after 3 rounds. Yes, we do have 3 players. Armenian, we just saw her game. Anna Khachatyan and Susanna Gaboyan are leading the tournament, 2.5 points out of 3. We do have Milena Gasparian, 2 points. And we do have Maya Mavetisyan and Susanna Rakelian, 1.5 points out of 3. Navar Tarapetian and Mariam Khachatyan, 1 point out of 3. Alina Kobak, 0.5 point out of 3. And Melina Harutyunyan, she didn't score points yet. Of course, let's see the pairings for men's tournament. For the 4th round, and we do have Artur Davtyan, Robert Ovanesyan. So Robert is having another black pieces. Today he also had black pieces. Yes, he had very tough game against Sargis Sargisyan. Uh, yes, it wasn't lost for Robert, but it was very, very unpleasant. Hovik Karapetyan is playing Sargis Sargisyan. Karen Grigoryan is playing Zaven Andreasyan. Tigran Harutyunyan is playing Manuel Petrosyan. Benik Agasarov is playing Mamikon Gharibian. So, of course, it's not going to be easy game for Robert, but somehow, and I think it is obvious that he's the favorite of this game. But with the black pieces, I think draw is the most likely result. I think Robert should try to stick playing solidly and then hoping to get his chances. Ovi Karapetyan is definitely going to push, and he's the, I would say, considering the tournament situation, clear favorite of this game. But I wouldn't be surprised. I apologize if Sargis Sargisyan will win tomorrow's game, but most likely Hovik Karapetyan is going to win, or game will end in a draw. Yes, it is another battle is very interesting. Karen Grigoryan is facing Zaven Andreasyan. I think Karen is the favorite of this game, but let's see. Let's see what will happen. Because Zaven won with the white pieces, drew against Roberto Vanisian and drew against Hovik Karapetyan, and Karen drew all 3 games. If he really wants to fight for some very high places, he should try to uh, win tomorrow's game, but which can definitely give some chances to Zaven Andresian. Tigran Harutyunyan, Manuel Petrosyan, I apologize. Yes, I think Tigran will try to push, but of course, being at the same time very solid. And now Manuel has two approaches, two possible strategies. One is just to play as usually Manuel plays, very solid, very safe, but most likely is not going to get any serious chances against Tigran Harutyunyan, or to maybe take some risks. But at that time, most likely we are going to see that Tigran is having some chances. Yes, from the tournament point of view, Manuel should try to uh, fight for something more than getting equality with the black pieces. But at the same time, if he tries something more, then uh, that could turn uh, into something very unpleasant for Manuel. Let's not forget that last year players faced each other, and Manuel Petrosyan lost with the white pieces against Tigran Harutyunyan, and Tigran beat last round against me. And we are having Benik Agasarov against Mamikon Gharibian. Somehow, of course, if Benik wants, most likely he can achieve a draw without much problems. But I think he will try. But when you try with the white pieces, you most likely are going to give some chances to your opponent. And somehow I believe that Mamikon is going to get his chances. Maybe not much, but few of them he will definitely get. So this is my predictions for tomorrow's round. Most likely, as always, they are wrong, but let's see. And briefly about Andranik Margaryan Memorial. Yes, let's see the final standings. We do have Vladislav Nozdrachev, clear first place with 7 points out of 9. Let me remind you that he lost his last round game with the black pieces against Arad Nazari. Percent Davtyan drew and clear second place, and we do have Arad Nazari clear third place. So two players tied fourth and fifth places, Robert Piliposyan and Eric Akopian. We do have Musavi 4.5 points. We do have Alex Sahakian 4 points. Pranet Vupala tournament didn't go well for him. 3 points. Eric Gasparian scored 2.5 points. And Levon Babujan scored only 1.5 points. Mm, I think only three players can hope for GM norm. Somehow I believe that Vladislav Nozdrachev made his GM norm. I'm very much hoping that Arsene Davtyan as well, but most likely not. And very unlikely that Arad Nazari has done his GM norm. Yes, congrats, very big congrats to the winners of the tournament. And let's check the games. Let's see them. Yes, we see that Eric Gasparian and Alex Sahakian, they didn't even try to play each other. And we see very quick game in Levon Babujan against Musavi and bishop d2. Yes, here a3, bishop c3, bishop c3, b6 is another line. Computer doesn't like this knight b5, and Musavi reacts in the best way. Yes, computer doesn't like this c takes d. Oh, so far Babujan plays excellent chess, and here maybe g3 or bishop e2. And I wanted to play queen f2, and then I realized that rook f4 is coming. So queen f2 doesn't work, most likely, right? Bishop d7, but why not rook f4? Because of some queen g3. And what about g3? It doesn't work because of a6, of course. Again, knight b4, knight b takes d4, knight d4, queen e3, e5. So Levon Babujan played knight g5, e6. Again, computer recommends a6. And now queen f2, h6, queen h4, knight g8. And now position is quite complicated. White can continue f5 or knight f3. Babujan goes knight d6, very interesting move. And now knight b4 is the main move and the best move. And now Babujan plays rook e5. The best would have been knight df7 or knight gf7 and knight e5. And now after rook f8, this is completely lost. So huge blunder by Babujan. And now knight takes. This is completely lost, completely hopeless. Yes. Musavi didn't play very well, but at some point Babujan blundered with the rook e5 move. We do have Baftian Branet, and this line c4, short castle knight c3. That's knight d7. h8, f5. Black is slightly better. Yes. Now white is better. G takes f was also possible. Yes, around equal position. And eventually d5. Not really taking bishop g2. And eventually bishop takes. And game ends in a draw. Eric Hakopian and Robert Piliposian seems like they played. This. Yes, queen d7. I think Eric Hakopian already had this position with the black pieces. Yes, rook a e8 or rook f e8, d5, it takes d, knight d5. Mm, bishop b2. Yes, bishop takes e6, knight e6, rook e4. g3 takes, queen takes, knight d5, h4, knight f6, knight e4. You know, but rook f e8, not the easiest move to play, and this is already unpleasant. And this is quite unpleasant already. Yes. Knight is heading to c4, and this is close to lost. At rook f4. Just queen e3. Yes, this doesn't really work. Rook d7. This is completely winning. Yes, rook bishop b2, rook h6, knight d7, knight d5, or rook g6, knight d5. Completely winning for white. Completely winning. Wow, wow. h6. And now just g6. Yeah, just g6, of course. And now rook d1. Yes, very nice game by Eric Hakopian. We can easily say that he got uh, something out of the opening, slightly better position, and slowly something went wrong for black, for Robert Piliposian, and white even got completely winning position. But in the end, of time pressure, he he panicked and allowed this rook a4, rook a8, and game ended in a draw. And also, let's see the winner of the tournament lost. Knight a5, quite tricky. 97. Yes, bishop e3 takes short castle, f6. Yes, just short castle. Very unpleasant position. Yes, just pawn down. Yes, lost position. Yes, rook a5 was working. No, very badly played game by Vladislav Nozdrachev. Yes, from the opening, he didn't have any problems. He could just take bishop e3, Yes, for some reason he played knight h4, and he already got very, very unpleasant position. And of course, let's see the standings for uh, IM tournament. We see Vahe Sukyasyan, despite losing the first game against Karmanova, won the tournament, clear first, 6.5 points. Uh, we do have Rudolf Pashikian 6 and Andrei Okara 5.5 points. Manuel Arakelian uh, 5, David Zakarian 4.5, Georgi Bagaturov, Vachev Vakimian 4, Karmanova 3.5, uh, Vladimir Shahinian and Volodya Torosyan 3 points. Yes, congrats to the winners, Vahe Sukyasyan, Rudolf Pashikian, and Andrei Okara. Of course, we should mention about Mavela Rakelian, who really performed well, and I think he increased his rating. Yes, we see that he increased about 63 points. And yes, congrats. He had a very good tournament. Uh, I very much hope that Vahe Sukyasyan and Rudolf Pashikian they made I am norm at least upcoming days in our website. Most likely we can see it, and I very much hope that Vahe. Uh, yes, he almost will cross 2400, and I'm very much impressed, and I very much recommend you guys to check out Vaha's game against Bagaturov, Rook c2, Bishop c1, Bishop b2. Yes, and the whole game. It was very classy game, and especially such a good player like Georgi Bagaturov. Okay, now let's check the oops. Let's check the games. Yes, and let's go to final. Surprisingly, we don't have any quick draws. And Olga Karmanova, who was leading the tournament from the start, and she had very promising positions. Uh, Eventually, tournament scoring -2, 3.5 points out of 9. So this game, winner of the tournament played it. This mhm. Yes, no doubts. Rearranged draw. Yes, yes. Rodolphe Pashikian won very important game against David Zakarian with the black pieces. D4 was working already. Yes, you don't need queen c8 at this point. Yes, h3, queen b7, bishop c2, b3, bishop b1, queen b5, and bishop e3. Knight e3 would have been better move. Knight takes c4. Wow. B takes c, queen a5. Wow. Very nice game by Rudolf Pashikian. Rook fd8 and queen c6 was the only move for white, but David Zakarian didn't play it. It's very nice, very beautiful game by Rudolf Pashikian, and especially this part of the game. Of course, after 93, white is better. Why knight takes a5 doesn't work because of d4 or c4. Yes, both moves are working. So this, and from here, knight takes e4. Definitely, Zakarian saw this. Knight takes c3, b takes c queen a5, and takes. And now knight d4, and now knight f3 and queen a4 with the ideas to go queen h4. Now f4 would have been the best. d4, he takes d, knight c2, and now b takes c takes b, d takes c. And this is completely winning position. As I want to check this game, Volodya Torosyan won against Georgy Bogaturov. Knight f3, bishop b5, bishop takes, short castle, rook e1, and here knight h6, queen c7 are the moves. Here's usually c3 and d4, white is playing, d3, knight e7, knight a3, short castle, knight c4, d6, a3. Black could continue a5, b4, takes, bishop e6, knight a5, f5, c4. Yes, Volodya has only 32 minutes and Bogaturov 1 hour 11 minutes. And now bishop b2, queen c2, c5, bishop takes, knight takes. Yes, completely lost position for Bogaturov. Wow. No, somehow Georgy Bogaturov didn't play well, and Volodya Torosyan was really playing well this game. And despite he finished the tournament sharing the last place, but at least having this memorable win against such a strong grandmaster, Georgy. Thank you very much, dear friends, dear viewers. Last 9 days, I was trying to cover Andranik Margaryan Memorial GM Norm Tournament and IM Norm Tournament for you. Uh, some really interesting games. Some, uh, especially, I want to uh, say about the quality Vahesukiasyan has shown in this tournament, and especially I'm impressed by his game against Georgi Bagaturov. Maybe after that game, Bagaturov couldn't really collect himself and play today's game because simply today he was crushed. Uh, and once again, congrats to the winners. And please leave your comments and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.